Have you ever felt like you need a secret decoder ring just to figure out modern dating? Well, if that's you, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're diving into the fascinating and, yeah, sometimes pretty frustrating psychology behind how we love today.
Yeah, this question probably hits a little too close to home, right? You're swiping, you're texting, you're trying to build something real, but it feels like someone just threw the rule book out the window. And that feeling? Honestly, it's exhausting. But here's the good news. It's not just you. That feeling isn't some kind of personal failure. What we're all going through is actually the result of these huge, seismic shifts in our technology, our social norms, and even our own psychology.
So, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on these hidden forces. We're going to look at the psychology, the data, and the brand new social scripts that are really defining how we connect with each other in the 21st century.
And we have to start with the biggest one of all, technology. Because dating apps didn't just give us a new place to meet people, they totally rewired the entire game of connection from the ground up.
And, just look at the sheer scale of this change. 39%. Almost 4 out of every 10 couples now meet online. It's completely taken over, becoming the #1 way we find partners, leaving all the old ways in the dust.
And this tech boom brought a really powerful psychological trap with it, the paradox of choice. You know that feeling when you're trying to pick a movie to watch? You have thousands of options, so you scroll for an hour, and then you're not even happy with what you finally pick. Well, dating apps did the exact same thing, but with people.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. When the next potential match is literally just a single swipe away, it tricks our brains. We start to believe there's this infinite supply of people, that there's always someone better just around the corner. And that feeling, it can paralyze us, making it so much harder to just choose someone and commit.
Okay, so that's the tech piece. But it's not the only piece. It's not just the how that's changed. Our entire social playbook for relationships has been rewritten. Those old, predictable steps that our parents and grandparents followed, for the most part, they're gone. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got the old way. It was a clear, straight path, like a ladder. Everyone knew the next rung. But now look at the right. That's today's map. It's messy, it's confusing, and it's full of these new, vague stages like talking or the famous situationship.
And one of the biggest reasons for this shift is right here. We're all getting married much, much later than we used to. And that extra decade or so of being single, well, that's the space where all these new, confusing, undefined relationship stages have popped up.
Which brings us to the word that perfectly captures this new era, the situationship. It is the direct result of this new landscape. It's a relationship without a label, without a clear direction, born from that mix of endless options and pushing milestones further down the road.
So, we've got new tech, and we've got new social rules. But what about us? What about our brains, which, by the way, haven't really gotten an update in thousands of years? Let's take a look at what happens when our ancient psychology crashes into modern technology.
You see, the really crucial thing to get is that our basic human need for connection, that hasn't changed at all. And there's this amazing psychological framework called attachment theory that explains how we bond with other people. It's been around for decades, but wow, it is the perfect lens for understanding why we act the way we do in today's dating world.
So, if you're someone with a more anxious attachment style, you really thrive on closeness, on reassurance. And this modern dating world, getting left on read, slow text replies, ghosting, it can feel like a total nightmare. It just lights up all those fears of rejection.
Now, on the flip side, you have the avoidance style. If this is you, you really value your independence, and too much closeness can actually feel suffocating. So for you, the distance that technology creates, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It makes it so much easier to keep people at a safe distance, which is a big reason why things like ghosting have become so common.
And then there's this secure style, which is kind of the balance point. If this is you, you're pretty comfortable with both getting close to someone and having your own independence. You're more likely to communicate what you need, and honestly, you just tend to handle the ups and downs of modern dating with a lot more resilience.
All right, so we've broken it all down. The tech, the social changes, our own psychology. But the big question is, what are we supposed to do with all this information? How do we find any kind of clarity in what feels like total chaos?
Well, here's a practical toolkit to help you navigate it all. First up, define your goals. Before you even open an app, get really clear with yourself about what you're actually looking for. Next, practice mindful swiping. Seriously, set a timer.
Limit your choices. It helps fight that decision fatigue we talked about. Third, communicate with courage. The whole system encourages being vague, but you can choose to be clear and kind. And finally, focus on connection, not perfection. Let go of the fantasy of finding the perfect person on paper and look for a real, messy, human connection instead.
Because at the end of the day, navigating modern love isn't about finding some secret rulebook that someone else wrote. It's about writing your own. So I'll leave you with this to think about. In a world that gives you infinite options, what does a genuine connection really, truly mean to you?